Risk versus reward. What's the biggest risk you took for your photography career at this point?
The biggest risk I took was not getting a 9 to 5 out of college. I graduated in 2011, and I went straight to pretty much pursuing a career. So that was the biggest risk ever, because my parents was on me about just getting a job. And I graduated with good enough grades to where I probably could have definitely got a regular corporate job. But that was the biggest risk I ever took, for sure.
What was your major and where did you graduate from?
I majored in business marketing. I graduated from Morehouse College.
Do they offer help? And just curious, a side note, do they offer help with job placement and that sort of thing for their graduates?
I'm sure, but I didn't even pursue that or look into it. So that wasn't something I was into. So in college, I didn't intern while in college or do anything to truly position myself for a career outside of a career in more of a corporate system. So it wasn't something I looked into, but I'm sure they do. It's a great college.
Now, making that decision there, taking that risk, hindsight 2020, looking back at things, was that worth it?
I don't believe in regrets, so it was definitely worth it. It paid off, let's say there. Do I think that if I would have done things a little differently, that I might have gotten, I don't know, maybe faster results? Maybe. I don't know, but it definitely was worth it, and it definitely was, looking at, like you said, 2020 hindsight, I would say I'll always do it again.
Some people do live with regrets. Why for you that policy of living without them?
I mean, you can't do nothing with it. Like, it doesn't help. It doesn't do nothing for your spirit or your energy to be reflecting on the past. I'm a very, like, in the moment type of person. So I don't live in the past. I live in right now and in the future. So nothing that's ever happened to me in life can truly affect me that happened in the past. So I don't really like to think about it.
Proudest accomplishment so far in your photography career at this point?
Proudest accomplishment will probably be traveling to Milan, Italy, and shooting a campaign for Foot Locker. I thought that was kind of crazy. Actually been out there a couple of times and shot a couple of campaigns out there that were pretty crazy.
With Foot Locker too, or different companies?
Different company. One was with Foot Locker and one was with their big shoe and sneaker store, AW Labs, based in Italy. That was just crazy, just the fact that, bro, this shit started from shooting Young Scooter. Like, and I'm just so thankful for the little opportunity or the opportunity that he gave me and where it has taken it. I mean, I've, like I said, been across the world shooting for major companies. It's just crazy.
How did you learn? Did you go to school for this stuff specifically or no?
No, I would probably say I'm 80% self-taught. The 20 I would give credit to my dad. He's a photographer, but he doesn't live here, so it's like over the phone pointers or critiques or little stuff I might have remembered from back home living with him. And then the other percent I'll give to a guy who's an older mentor of mine named Chilio. He was in Atlanta and showed me just certain quick techniques when I first started with a camera that completely changed the way I approach photography.
Now, in aspect to the chronological order and the history of how your life became up to this point, was these, the Chilio, your father, self-teachings of 80% that you just described, was this after you earned this degree, or was this stuff going on while you were in the midst of earning the degree?
I bought my first camera in 2010. So that was a year before I graduated. So I would say a little bit in college, I would maybe ask my dad for a pointer, but I really wasn't using my camera like that for like the first year. I really didn't start using it till after I graduated. I was more so managing an artist and throwing events at the beginning. So I would probably say it's more like stuff that I kind of picked up after college, especially with myself. I didn't get in the field and consider myself a photographer or videographer at the time until after I graduated, for sure.
Now, looking back, hindsight 2020 again, was going to college and getting this degree, because this, I mean, as a photographer, people I would assume would think that, hey, he probably went to photography school or went to some sort of school of media and that sort of thing for what he does now. But this time that you spent earning this degree, was it worth it? Do you wish you would have never went to college and did these 4 years? You wish you would have bypassed that experience altogether and just started with the camera earlier, maybe?
Definitely not. I think going to college was the best decision I've ever made in my life, and it laid the foundation for me to be who I am. So those 4 years were necessary. I tried a lot of different things to eventually stumble upon what I feel like my purpose was the camera. So without those 4 years to that little cushion you had to kind of try things, make a mistake, but you're good because you're in school, dibble and dabble in this, dibble and dabble in that. That was what led me to even be able to find photography. Coming straight out of high school, I would have never in a million years even thought I was going to do photography. It wasn't even something I was into. That, from a social standpoint, also being just a quiet, reserved kid from Maryland, moving to Atlanta, those 4 years in college really evolved me as a man. And then what I did learn in college is what I think the biggest thing that separates me from most people in Atlanta and most photographers around the world. I have a business marketing degree. I understand marketing. So I not only know how to take a good picture, I actually know what to do with that picture and to get it in the right hands and to get it seen. I not only know how to build a brand, but I know how to market my brand. So when I came down to me now starting businesses, my studio, my store, it's like I know marketing. I understand the concept. I can practice it. So that's truly my passion. Like, photography is a means to actually do my passion, which is marketing.
Why do you credit young Scooter in this conversation?
Well, he's the first artist that gave me a consistent shot to actually work with him. I traveled almost the entire United States with him. First time ever leaving Atlanta and all that was through him. And he gave me like bigger opportunities and responsibilities. So it wasn't just like cameraman. Like, he let me handle the release of some of his songs. I got to show a little bit of my marketing side. I got to, really kind of show what I was made of working with him. And, he's just always been 100 and loyal. And we have like I feel like a big brother, little brother relationship that I'll always be there for him. And I feel like he always had my back, and it's just dope.
How did you actually get that gig?
I got the gig through Ebb, who manages Gunna and manages Future. I used to do work for her when I just graduated college. She had a store called Fly Kicks, and through the little work I did for her, she put in a good word for me to originally do some work for Future. And through me doing work with Future, they decided it would be better for me to kind of build with Scooter, which I think at the time was actually the best thing for myself to really kind of perfect my skill set a little more. And I always believe in like working with people that you are like eye to eye with versus like trying to be a small fish working with like sharks and big people. And Future at the time was too big for my true value to actually have an impact or to be seen and to be noticed. So she put in a good word for me with young Scooter, and the rest is history.
Was it a paid situation at first, or more so internship for you with the scooter?
Always paid. I mean, I laugh at what photographers now get paid to travel with artists, because back then, that was like the beginning of artists feeling like they need a guy with them. And back then it was all video work. So I didn't do photography back then for him. I did videos. So everybody wanted video vlogs, and Rick Ross had it on lock, and everybody was doing these vlogs. So now, I think truly through me and a few other photographers that came up, we've shifted shifted it to photography now. So now everybody wants a photographer. They want the pictures, the photos, and less about like the video stuff. So now the work is easier. If you ask me, if you just taking photos all day, that's easy. You can edit that in 2 seconds. Some people I know edit on a phone and your job is done. Back then I was having to edit 5-10 minute long videos and compile days and clips, and it was a lot for what I was getting paid. But back then, like I said, I never did this for money, ever. So he could have paid me $50 a day. I didn't care. Like, that was worth it. I was working with, and I actually got to watch like a superstar, right before my eyes. And I met so many people. I met Cameron working with Scooter, and that's like crazy to me. That's like one of my favorite rappers ever. So it was a blessing. The experience was worth it.
Do you credit social media and the way social media has evolved for the importance of a photographer and these photos, or no, it's just what you stated earlier?
Definitely social media. I mean, Instagram and Twitter definitely changed my life. Twitter, in the sense that it was the first time that artists, I felt, became accessible. So you could tweet an artist, or you could get their attention through a post or something. That was the first. Instagram, for sure. I caught the beginning of Instagram, I feel. So it's like, I see photographers now and they have like hundreds of thousands of followers, because they caught the peak of it. Like, when I was working with the artists I was working with, Instagram wasn't that big. So the work I was doing on a consistent level like that was still kind of going unnoticed. But definitely, Instagram made people appreciate photography more, and everybody. Now, on the flip side, it also made photographs more disposable, where, people are posting hundreds of photos a day. It's like the value in the photograph is completely diminished, to be honest. So it's disrupted the business, while at the same time providing more opportunities. Because every artist needs a photographer now, everyone. So there's now more room for all of us to be in the game. But because they need so much photography and so much work, you're doing 10 times more work for the same check that back in the day a photographer would do a couple shoots a year, because Jay-Z would only need probably one shoot that year to go with his album. And that shoot budget would probably be 50 to 100,000. And then you were good. You did your shoot. You can work on your personal projects, but that was your shoot. Now it's like, oh no, Jay-Z needs 10 shoots, or this artist needs a shoot every day because he needs shoots for flyers. And after a couple months, the flyers, they're gonna be using the same flyers every day. They need new pictures. Press, they need this. They put out mixtapes 3 times a year now. They need this, they need that. So, and they need day-to-day. They want to post to their gram. They want to show their outfits. So now it's like they're posting thousands of photos a year. So you're getting paid maybe the same, but you're doing 10 times more work.
And how did you get the Foot Locker gig too in Milan? How did that come about?
It's funny. I worked for this artist who I'm a big fan of in Milan. His name is Farah. And over in Milan, they consider him the trap king in Milan. So when they went to hire a photographer to fly to Milan to work with the trap king, they Googled trap photography, and I was the first person that came up. And then they saw that I work with, Gucci's, Amigos, and all that, and they were like, perfect fit. So that was how I got the job, internet.
That's how you got the Foot Locker gig.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the actual first camera you ever purchased, what was that camera, and do you still have it today in your possession?
First camera I ever bought was a Canon T2i, and I do not have it. It was stolen from me.
Stolen recently or stolen at the same time you had purchased it?
No, I had it for a while. I retired it. I had retired it. It was good. I was keeping it for my memorabilia, and my car got stolen, and it was in the back. It was in the trunk of my car.
Did you ever get the car back?
No, yeah, it was totaled out though. So no, I couldn't do nothing with it.
In a situation like that, where your car is stolen and it's totaled, with insurance, do you get a brand new car?
No, I didn't get a brand new car. I got my car paid off, and I had renter's insurance, which is the most important thing to have living in Atlanta. So I lost my laptop. I think I lost like 2 cameras, a laptop. All of that was paid back to me through my renter's insurance. My car was paid off, and I think I might have had like $2,000 on top that I could have used to put back on another car. But it scared me from getting cars, so I went without a car for 4 years.
Oh. That explains something you referred to earlier in this conversation.
Yeah, a car felt like a stress to me. Like, it's stressful. You gotta worry about the maintenance. You gotta worry about it now getting stolen or an accident. I'm good.
Now, I asked you what you just stated about the car situation may fit this answer, it may be something different, and I'm gonna ask anyways. But I asked you what your proudest accomplishment so far was, but on the opposite end of this spectrum, what was the biggest, failure in your career at this point?
I don't have any failures.
Biggest flop? Something you thought was going to go a certain way or do something, and it just didn't amount to what you thought it would be.
I'm a perfectionist, so anything that I've set my mind to, I won't rest or stop doing it until it achieves the results that it needs to achieve. So there isn't necessarily one thing that I can say. It might have started rocky. My studio started very rocky. First 6 months of me thinking I was launching a studio, we didn't have not one booked appointment until I changed the entire business plan, model, and all that. So there have been things that have not started the way I wanted them to start, but I don't leave a project with a F on it or a flop. Nothing's gonna flop around me.
When the car total situation happened, you lose the laptop, you lose these 2 cameras. How discouraging was that to you at the time of your career?
It wasn't discouraging at all. I think it's one of my biggest skill sets is the ability to handle things internally. Maybe it's something that'll come back to bite me years from now. I have an explosion of emotion over stuff that I just kind of felt emotionless to, where the average person would have probably, wanted to jump off a building. When it happened, I always tell myself things that you can't control. You got a couple of hours to feel a way about it, and then after that, it's over. Like, what else can you do about it? So when it happened, of course, I was in shock. I was thrown off. I was upset. I remember like yesterday, at night, I went to a Future concert and got drunk and had fun and laughed about it with my friends and kept it moving. And then a week later, I probably had a new camera and was already doing what I needed to do. Well, actually, I never lost my personal camera, the one that I used the most. I lost like backup cameras and stuff like that. I did lose my laptop, but I went out and I bought a new laptop.
Did you have anything that was saved to another drive that was on that laptop, or?
Yeah, I did lose
Because I know sometimes you can have a laptop, but it's just for usage. You know, if you're putting in an external drive, you don't lose anything.
Yeah, I think I might have lost a few drives that time. I've been robbed like robbed is the wrong word because no one's ever robbed me like physically or person. But I've had stuff stolen from me probably about 4 times in Atlanta. It's always been a laptop. Every laptop gets stolen. It's been hard drives sometimes. It's been camera. But usually I'm very protective over like my content, so it's backed up on multiple drives. There's only one thing I lost. I lost some photos of the Migos that I took that really pissed me off. But thankfully I had already edited them and had the edit, so it was cool.
Yeah, because I didn't know if this, you know, kind of like how you stated with the cameras, it was a backup camera or whatever. Was this like a backup laptop or a laptop used it more so as an instrument?
It was my real deal laptop, so I was out of commission laptop-wise. But again, thank God for renter's insurance. About a week I had a check cut to me. I went and bought a new laptop, and the rest was history.
When it came to the car situation, I do have one more question about that. Was that something that could have been prevented at all? Was that a mistake on your end? Like, did you leave the key in the car? Did you, leave the doors unlocked? Or was it a simple person just targeting that particular car and they?
I mean, there's always, like you say hindsight 2020, you can always go back and say, well, the area I was in, maybe I shouldn't have been there. Maybe this shouldn't have happened. It could have been avoided, but I mean, who knows? It was God's plan. So I won't necessarily say it's my fault. I think it's something that people probably do every day, what I did. I mean, I did leave the car on, but I had the key in my pocket. It was a push to start. I hopped out for 2 minutes. I was like, I'm about to just walk right here for 2 minutes, come right back. It was on a damn near a road that no one travels on. It was like a side street. So, and it happened in literally 2 minutes of me stepping out of my car. So I wouldn't necessarily say like it was completely my fault. I mean, I guess I'm at fault to a degree, but it's not nothing I look at like
that. You don't think you were targeted personally? Hey, this is Cam Kirk's car.
Definitely no.
Okay. What about the other times people have stolen stuff from you?
I've never been targeted.
So it's just random, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Moving forward, what did that teach you? What did you learn from that? Having other things stolen from you, I guess, before in the past, what do you take from all that sort of thing?
Every time it happens, it leads to a greater reward. It's usually almost like, I look at it like paying taxes or something. Every single time that's ever happened, within a week or two, something crazy happened in my career or my life. So I almost, crazily, just kind of laugh at it now and just be like, oh, I guess I know what's about to happen next. So it didn't teach me nothing. It taught me, there's certain, like, I guess, street rules you learn, like, all right, don't leave cameras in your car. Never leave your laptop in your car. Be more careful, but besides that, I was prepared for it all.